This hour on Verbling, the next in my, what am I doing? Speaking skills, that's right. The next in my speaking skills series. In this series of classes, we work on important communicative strategies to help you encounter all kinds of situations that'll come up in your everyday life, and we'll work on the key phrases that'll make you sound like a native speaker. In today's class, we're going to be working on how to talk about past events, how to tell stories, how to talk about anecdotes, personal anecdotes. We'll be looking at one particular verb tense which will help you, and lots of vocabulary. But we're going to do it in a fun and interesting way. We're going to be looking at a story to help give you an idea about how to tell a story in the past. All of that and more coming up. I'll share the material and explain it a little bit better. But first, quick introduction while we're waiting for everyone to come in. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you today from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. If you click on my name in the Verbling website, it'll take you here to my profile page. On the left, if you follow me, you can talk to me directly in the message window, that little envelope on the top right, and you should get notifications of my upcoming classes. And on the right side, you can book a private tutoring class or buy a package, and I'll work with you on creating a personalized learning plan to help get you to your goals. If you're interested, just send me a message first so I can be sure that there's time for you in my schedule. That's a little bit about me. Let's take a look at the material for today. I'm going to give everybody a link in the group chat first and here in the Verbling chat. So if you want to open this in your computer, just click on that link. And of course, if you like, you can download it and review it later. I'll be sharing the presentation with you as we go along in any case. So let me just make sure that everyone's microphones are working, and let me just say a quick hello. So the first person I saw was Mr. Mikkel. Welcome back, Mr. Mikkel. How are you?
Hello. Hello, John Eric. I'm doing well. And
hello. You? Hello. I'm doing well as well. Hello. Okay. You and your bicycle. Any other road trips to tell us about?
No, I'm not in my bicycle. I'm walking just in this moment. I will try.
Picture. The picture you're in your bicycle.
No, but now.
Oh, you're working out. Got it.
Yes.
Oh, very good. Well, at least we could see your T-shirt anyway. Okay, very good. And Mr. Antonio, where are you, Antonio?
Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. I'm fine, thank you. I'm from Spain.
Very good. Whereabouts in Spain, Antonio?
Excuse me, could you repeat, please?
Whereabouts in Spain? Where in Spain?
I'm from the north of Spain, from Zaragoza.
From Zaragoza. Okay, very good, very good. Let's see. Welcome back, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Mr. Jose, how are you? Uh-oh.
Hello, John.
There you are.
You're doing very well.
Okay.
Thanks for asking, and you?
Very good, very good. Okay, welcome back. So everyone else, I think, who else is out there? Giancarlo, Frederic, Edson. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay.
Fine.
Excellent, very good. Okay, and there's one person whose name I cannot read.
Ahmed. My name is Ahmed.
Ahmed. How are you, Ahmed?
I tried to change my name, but I couldn't.
There is a way to do it. I don't know how, but I know it's possible because I had. There's another student, maybe she'll be here today, who had it in Japanese and she changed it. I don't know how she did it, but I know it's possible. Where are you from, Ahmed?
I'm from Saudi Arabia. I wrote my name there. My name is Ahmed Al-Harthi. I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Okay, fantastic. So let's get started. Let's start with you, Mr. Ahmed. Can you see the picture that I'm showing right now in the presentation?
Yes.
What do you see?
A man riding a horse.
It is a man riding a horse. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see if we can all add a little bit of detail, because this is going to have a lot to do with the story you're going to be reading about in just a minute, and how you describe past events or a story yourself. So we've got a man on a horse. Rebecca, what kind of man? Let's see if you can add a little bit of detail. Uh-oh, I don't hear Rebecca. Mr. Miko.
Yeah, sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
there she is. There she is. What kind of man on a horse?
Well, it looks like a prince.
Like a prince, yeah,
Well,
maybe.
a prince, but years ago, actually centuries ago,
So let's see if I can put this in the chat window so you get some
Yeah.
vocabulary.
Look the horse, the the I don't know the name of the thing the horse is wearing, so.
Let's find out.
Yeah, and look at him. Look at his clothes too. He's wearing a arrow.
He's wearing a what?
Arrow?
An arrow? No, he's got a sword. Is that what you mean?
A sword, but the other one in the other side is a long arrow.
Oh, no, that's not an arrow. Does anyone know what that's called?
Oh, no, of course.
Does anyone know? It's not an arrow. Does anyone know? Anyone? He has a lance.
Sword.
He has a lance.
A lance. Okay, so it's
And
going
a
to.
sword. Okay. I'm going to put this in the chat window when we get done our description. Mr. Miko, we know what kind of man, but what kind of a horse?
Sorry, John?
What kind of a horse? We know what kind of man, but what kind of horse is it?
It looks a white horse, maybe.
It looks a white horse, or it looks like a white horse?
Yeah, like a white horse.
Like a white horse. What do we call a white horse that's very expensive, that's very strong, that's very athletic? What do we call particularly a male, strong, athletic horse? Instead of horse. Horse is very generic. We've got a better word.
Mm.
You know? Begins with an S.
I can imagine.
Rhymes with Italian. And the answer is? Anybody? Anyone?
No.
I think I know the word in Spanish. Alazán.
What is it?
Alazán.
Alazán? I don't know what that is. The word I'm thinking of in English is stallion. It looks like a white stallion. That's almost like a racehorse, because it looks like a strong horse that a prince would ride. Okay, let's see, Mr. Jose.
Yes.
Can you give us one detail about either the man or the horse? Something that we haven't said. Maybe what they're wearing or what they have on them, what they're carrying. Can you give us one detail?
The man is a handsome man. He is well dressed.
Well dressed. I'm well dressed, but I don't look like him. What do you mean?
They are wearing some costume to fight into the war.
Okay. I'm going to give you a vocabulary word here. It's not a normal vocabulary word, but it could work here. It looks like you could say that he's wearing period dress or period clothing, meaning that it comes from an historical period, an historical epoch. So he seems to be in historical dress, maybe from the medieval times or the later.
I can say he's wearing all fashioned clothes.
I don't think so, because my grandfather wears old-fashioned clothes, but my grandfather does not have a sword.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Okay. Right.
Let's take a look at
a specific word to describe it. Yes.
So in the chat window, you can see what we've said so far. There's a man on the horse. He has a lance and a sword, perhaps a prince.
He's wearing period dress clothing. Yes.
Yeah, it likes like. Whoops! It should say that should say it looks like a white stallion. He's wearing period dress or period clothing. Let me just fix that typo. Give me a second. I'm gonna put that in because it should say it looks like. There we go. It looks like a white stallion is wearing. Okay, there we go. So that has a lot to do with what you're going to read about. Mr. Giancarlo, I have a question for you. Are you there?
Yes, John, I'm here.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What dates or events in history do people in Mexico remember in school? What's something important you have to learn in history class?
The Mexican Revolution.
Mexican Revolution, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Mexican Revolution. What else? The Independence Day. Yes, those dates, I think. Those.
And when was the Mexican Revolution? I don't actually know. What's the date?
I think it was in 1810, I think.
1810. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So that was separating from what? From the U.S., from the colonies?
Yeah.
Or from Spain, or both?
No, from the United States, I think.
Ah, okay, okay, very good. So we got the Mexican Revolution. And Frederic, in France, what are some things you have to know in school? Some events or dates in history.
The French Revolution.
Ah, one of my favorites.
Hmm?
The French Revolution was just, the more you read about it, the weirder it was.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And
do you know what I like best about the French Revolution, Frederick? Tell me. Did you like history when you studied history in school? Did you like it?
No, when I was young, I didn't like history, but it's kind of a regret now. I regret it now, you know. And
now it's not too late.
Yeah, it's not too late, but I have a lot of things to do, so I don't have time to learn history now.
Take time out. Take time out on a Friday and read history. 1 hour every Friday. Or watch a video. Go to YouTube. Yeah. What I like best about the French Revolution was that you French people during the Revolution were so radical that you created your own calendar. You changed the calendar. You changed the amount of, wasn't it the amount of days per week and month changed in that period? I don't think I'm making that up. That's what I remember. Sound familiar?
Yeah, it's true.
That's insane.
Yeah. A lot of things. We got rid of a lot of things when the revolution ended.
Excellent. And so the French Revolution was what? Just after the American Revolution, right? Wasn't it a little bit after?
1789.
89. Okay. Yeah, we were 1776. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. And we've got Antonio and also Sam here. Antonio, in Spain, what do you have to learn in school? What's a date that you have to learn in particular?
I'm very fortunate because my country has a story since the prehistoric times. Many civilizations came to Spain and set up since Celtic civilization, Iberus, Carthagines, and Roman Empire. We have a very huge history.
Mm-hmm. A long history. Okay, very good, very good. And what about Sam? What about you? What was school like? Are you there, Sam?
Yes, I am here.
Is there a particular date or historical events you have to learn about? You're in Pakistan, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, I really. It's asked about what? About history or what?
Yes, when you're in school, what kind of history do you have to study?
Yes, when I was in school, we have our uh, because not only history about our culture, but our country as well,
Mm-hmm.
and we learn about different empires.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, we can say that
Colony?
before. Sorry,
The colonization.
hello.
You said I
Sorry.
thought you said French colony. That's what I thought you said. Did I
No,
misunderstand?
no. I say that history
Mm-hmm.
about and we have learned about some imperial rule in subcontinent. So we learn about we taught and we how we say uh, we taught or we learned. Yes,
We
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 studied
study.
about this history. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that was normally that was related to the independence of Pakistan and what history or how many national heroes were they play the in a vital role, and in our imperial histories how the imperial the rule in and that and when I was in school.
Okay, very good. By the way, let me just correct you on one word. We
Mhm.
have the noun empire and we have the
Okay.
adjective imperial, and they're
Mhm.
spelled differently as well. Empire and imperial.
Mhm.
Okay, so we learned about
Empire and
empires, or we learned about
imperial.
imperial rule. Exactly. All right, great.
Imperial. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we're going to look at a story, a historical story, actually. I'm going to first show you a few different pictures, and I want you to make an educated guess based on what you see right now. Look at the pictures and tell me. I'll just tell you the title of the story that you're going to read is Mystery in the Tower. And you can see the tower in number 4. I'm not going to say anything else. What do you think this mystery is going to be about? Just looking at these pictures. Don't all talk at once. Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Hmm?
The fight
Yes.
for ruling a kingdom.
Yes,
Ah,
I
there we
can.
go. Okay. I was getting scared that no one was saying anything. So, Antonio, repeat that again. I couldn't hear the beginning. A
I
fight?
think it's the fight for ruling a kingdom,
Ah, the fight for power
for
over
power
the
of a
kingdom.
kingdom.
Okay. Or the fight. You could also say the fight for rule, maybe. I would even say maybe struggle. So, struggle for power, or the struggle for maybe rule or the right to rule. I'll say right to rule, something like that. Okay, that could definitely be an element, and that's based on what? Number 3, picture 3. I assume you're talking about the third picture. Okay, another guess.
Can
Go for it. Yeah.
yes. I think this picture we can say that um, a people
Oh, you're.
and I think that war we can say that they are fighting or we say that during maybe in ancient time the soldiers and they use horses and weapons
Uh-huh.
like
John Carlos got you covered there. He says it's a
mhm.
battle. A battle.
It's a bad okay a
All
battle
right.
yeah
You can definitely see
hmm
that in number 3. Um, Mr. Miko, what do you think about number 5? What does that add to the what is the mystery there? So we got a battle, we've got a tower. Tower. What do you see in number 5? Does that add anything?
Maybe they found some bones or some
Ah, yeah, maybe. Maybe they found some bones.
in the tower.
In the tower. Maybe. Okay. And who did I lose here? Ahmed, what do you think about the first picture? Let's see how that adds to the mystery. Who are those people, do you think, in the first picture?
I think they are maybe the kings or the empire children.
So if they're the children of kings, then those are princes. If they're boys.
Yeah, prince. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the princes. And Mr. Jose, are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Ah, there you go. Okay. So far we got a battle in number 3, a tower in number 4. Possibly we've discovered bones in number 5. Something's happening with the princes in number 1. Jose, what about picture number 2? Does that give you any clues? Yeah.
I think this man could be the king.
Ah. So maybe we've got some kind of power struggle with the king.
Yes.
All right. Let's find out. Hold on to your ideas for a minute, because we're actually going to read the story. We're going to read Mystery in the Tower. It's very short. And we're going to discuss a few questions afterwards to make sure that you understand it. Then we're going to take a look at a few details to help you talk about the past the way the past is spoken about in the story. I'll draw your attention particularly to one verb tense that'll be very useful for you to use. Let's take a look. Let's see. Mr. JC, can you start us off with the princes disappear?
Yes. The princess disappear. Sorry, is disappear or disappears, teacher?
That's supposed to be disappear. Why, it looks like an S?
Disappear.
Yeah, because it's princes. There's 2. So it's disappear because it's plural. No S in the plural, right?
A princess. Okay. And how do you write princess in singular? With double S?
No, it's not princess. It's prince. Male, prince. Like this.
Princess, prince.
1 prince, 2 princes, and the female is princess. I'll put a little F for female. And the plural for female would be princesses, and that's F. See it in the chat window?
Prince, yes, prince, princess, princess.
Princess.
Princess,
and princesses.
Okay.
So these are 2 boys. Those are princes.
Okay, teacher. Yes, the princess disappeared on 9th April 1483. King Edward IV of England died.
Wait, King Edward the Fourth. We have to say it in a fancy way because they're kings and princes. Edward the Fourth, right? Edward the Fourth, like that.
Okay, Edward IV of England died. He had 2 sons, Edward, aged 12, and Richard, aged 9. The boy's uncle, also called Richard, was asked to look after them and govern the country until Edward was old enough to be king. This never happened. Uncle Richard put the princes in the Tower of London to protect them, and they were never seen again. They simply disappeared. Meanwhile, their uncle took power and became King Richard III of England.
Uh-oh.
Is that correct? The third or just 3?
No, you're right. The third.
Okay.
I'm saying uh-oh because their uncle is, what a nasty uncle, huh?
Yeah. A murder.
So, a murder. That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Okay, let's find out a little bit about Richard III. Mr. Frederic, want to take this one?
Okay.
Richard III is killed, so what happened to the princes? Nobody knows, but later that year the stories began. People said that Richard had murdered the boys. A lot of people were against Richard and rebelled. Richard's enemy, Henry Tudor, had spent some time in France, but now he returned to England and his rebels joined him. On August 22nd, 1485, then two armies fought at the Battle of Bosworth Field. King Richard was killed.
Bosworth.
Bosworth
Good.
Field. King Richard was killed and Henry became King Henry VII of England.
Okay. Are you following all this history? Hopefully it's making sense. I want you to take a quick look. In this case, I'm going to take a quick look at these three words, Frederick. See if you can work out what words those are based on the symbols I just gave you. There's three separate words there.
Yes, I think it's rebel.
Not river.
Rebel.
That's a T and a sh together, which is a ch. So it's Richard.
Richard.
Yeah, but not Richard. Richard.
Richard.
Good. So the first syllable is stressed. Richard.
Richard.
Good. And the second word?
The second one is rebel.
Not rebel.
Rebel.
Good. And notice again, there's a little apostrophe in front of the R, which tells you that it's the first syllable that's stressed. Rebel. Rebel.
Rebel.
Good. And the last word is not Henri.
Sorry.
It's, what is it?
Henry.
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 Good. Again, first syllable. What was the French author? Was it Diderot said that English is French spelled wrong and pronounced incorrectly. And it's true. English is just French, but spelled backwards. So it's the same words, but just a different intonation, different stresses. So we've got Richard, Rebel, and Henry. Okay, so far so good. We got our first two parts of the story. Ms. Rebecca. Look at this one. This says a forced confession. Can you do that for us?
Yeah. Were the boy really dead? Many people thought they were still alive, and perhaps Edward could become king. But King Henry was quite clear. Richard had killed them. In 1502, Richard's friend Sir James Tudor confessed. He had murdered the boys on Richard's orders, although he didn't say what had happened to their bodies.
Oh my goodness. So the mystery continues. We still need to know what happened to their bodies, because if there's no bodies, that means they're not dead. And if they're not dead, that means someone else should be king. See how this is shaping up, our mystery? Okay. Let's go to History is Written. History is Written. Mr. Miko, can you take this one for us?
In 1674, the bones, so there are some bones.
There they go.
The bones of two children were found under the stairs of the church in the Tower of London.
Ooh.
Now it seemed clear. Richard III had ordered Sir James to kill the princes, the princes,
not princess, but princes.
The princes in the tower and put their bodies under the stairs. In Shakespeare's play, Richard III, Richard was an evil master, a mother with a deformed body. The most famous painting from that time shows that Richard had one shoulder bigger than the other. At that time, people thought that a deformed body was a sign of an evil mind, and so history was written. The story was complete, or was it?
Or was it? And I want you to take a quick look at. Give me a second here. I'm going to put 2 words in the chat window, and I'm going to again use the IPA just to confuse you as much as possible. Give me a second. Let's see if you can see this. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on a second. Get this to work properly. Okay, let's take a look. There we go. Can you see those 2 words I put there, Miko?
Murderer.
Okay. Actually, the first one is in British English. I should have written it in American English, to be honest with you. But yes, because there should be an R, so it should be murderer.
Murderer.
Murderer. Good. And the second word? Sorry, the first syllable is on the top line, and the rest is on the bottom line.
Deformed.
Deformed. Deformed.
Deformed.
Okay. That's it. That's it. So not deformed, but deformed.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
So now maybe we figured out the mystery. Maybe. Let's see. I think I have one more for you. Oh, no, that was it. Oh, I thought I had another chapter. There is another chapter. Have any of you been following the news? Have you noticed that Richard has been in the news not so long ago? Did anyone see the story a couple of months ago?
No.
Where did Richard show up? Richard, the evil uncle guy, where did he show up? In a park.
Yeah, in a park lot, no?
In the parking lot. In the parking lot of a Tesco.
Yes. Yeah, I hear that.
Digging up the parking lot of a discount, it's like a discount supermarket kind of thing. It's kind of where you buy everything. One of those general stores, like a Walmart. They found Richard III, and he's still there today, underneath the parking lot. They found him. That part wasn't discovered at the time, so it's not in the story. Okay, you can take a quick look at the lineage of the people in the story. Okay, and you've got a few important keywords there. Take a quick look. Actually, Mr. Antonio, could you just read through the glossary? Just the words. You don't have to read the definitions, but let's just read through the list of words because I want you to use these when you tell a similar story. Could you read through the list for me?
Okay. Army,
right?
Battle, confess, deform, enemy, evil, protect.
Evil. Right.
Evil, protect.
And then to look at the last 2. I don't know if you can see the last 2 if they're cut off.
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't show it because.
Okay, if you want, you can.
Rebel.
There you go. Notice that there's 2 rebel words. The verb, which is rebel, fight against the government, and on the very bottom, rebel. So you've got rebel and rebel. Rebel is the noun, it's a person, and rebel is the verb.
Okay.
Okay? So notice how we change the stress of the word depending on whether it's a noun or a verb. Like record is what you do with your tape recorder or your phone. You can record a message. But record is a disc, a vinyl disc. So you've got record and record, rebel and rebel. Notice how the stress changes. Okay. So we've already talked about the first 2 exercises. I asked you talk about some dates. Let's decide what kind of historical things are important between your country, your culture, and the one you're reading about, which is the UK. We talked a little bit about that in the beginning. And then I asked you to look at the pictures and guess what the mystery was. And then you had to read, and you did. So, How close were we in our guesses? Did we get the mystery right? Now that you've read it, were our guesses basically right? The only thing that I saw different was we talked a little bit about nouns. I'm reading John Carlos' comment. Sorry. We talked a little bit about a battle. That's what I meant to say. And I don't remember there being specifically a battle in the story. Was there? There was a power struggle, maybe. So maybe that's the only guess we got wrong. Just to answer your question, are nouns always stressed in the first vowel? You mean in the first syllable? Are nouns always stressed in the first syllable? And the answer is no. It rarely on the first. You know what? It's one of those things that you have to learn through listening and trying to categorize words in patterns. It depends on how many syllables. What else can I tell you? It depends on how many syllables, and it depends on sometimes the ending of the word. For example, any word that ends in shun, T-I-O-N, will always be stressed on the syllable before the ending. So it doesn't matter how long the word is, the stress is always before the shun. So you say nation, stressed on the first syllable because it's before the shun. But procrastination, right? It's not procrastination, it's procrastination. So again, it'll be stressed on the syllable before. So you have to look at those patterns to find the stress. There's not really a single rule that you can learn, unfortunately. So group them into take the patterns and put them into groups, I guess. Okay, let's make sure that the story is clear. The princes disappear. There are 2 Edwards and 2 Richards. How are they related to each other? From what you read, how are they related to each other? Mr. Ahmed, do you think you can handle this question? 2 Edwards and 2 Richards, how are they related?
Hello, do you hear me?
Say again?
I think to Edward, the princes, one of them was his name Richard, and the murder.
I'm sort of losing you. I didn't quite catch what you said. I kind of lost you there.
I mean, the murder, his name is Richard, and one of the princes.
Got it. So so basically, that's for the Richards, right? But what about the Edwards? Who were the 2 Edwards?
But sorry, but the murder was Richard, or was the Richard's friend, or Richard Sir James Tile, or?
Well, Richard ordered the murderer, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's the murderer in that sense. So maybe he didn't get his hands dirty, but it seems like he's the one who ordered the murder. He put them under the staircase. He knew that they were there.
Okay.
Right? I can double check, but I think so. And what about the 2 Edwards? Who are the 2 Edwards in the story? So Ahmed gave us the Richards. What do you think? Jose, did you catch who the 2 Edwards were in the story? I don't hear. There he is. So this is the great thing. This is why it's a Shakespeare play. Because you've got 2 people, you've got 2 sets of 2 people that all have the same name, which makes for interesting drama, but confusing history. So one of the boys, one of the princes is Edward, and who's the other Edward? Do you remember?
His father.
His father.
His
Yeah.
father, yes.
Yeah, the king. King Edward. So we've got their father, King Edward, and their uncle, which is Edward's brother, which is Richard. And then you got the 2 princes, Edward. Okay. And why didn't Prince Edward become king? Just to be clear.
Sorry?
Why? I'm just looking at number 2. Why didn't Prince Edward become king? Because
Because he was killed.
He was killed. He disappeared.
Yeah.
And later we found him under the stairs. Richard III is killed. Richard III is killed, right? Why were the people against Richard? Anyone, if you know it, shout it out. Why were the people against him? What did they think?
Because they think that he killed the two boys.
Right. They think or they thought?
They thought, sorry.
They thought he was a murderer.
Because people say that Richard had murdered the boys.
Exactly. How did Henry become king? According to the story. This is where it gets a little confusing. What did Henry do?
Fight against Richard.
Henry killed King Richard.
Yeah.
Right? He killed him. Okay. Hopefully this is starting to make sense. Next is the forced confession. Was everybody sure the princes were dead? Class, yes or no?
No, anybody.
No.
A lot of people thought they were still alive. There were no bodies. Okay? In 1502, people thought the mystery was solved. Why did they think it was solved in 1502? Because
some bones were found in the tower. No?
No, I don't think so. I think that was later. Let me just double check. No, 1674 the bones were found. What happened in 1502?
Oh, Sir James confessed.
Sir James Tyrrell, one that Rebecca read, right? Sir James Tyrrell confessed. He claimed to have murdered the boys because Richard ordered him to. That was the confession. Okay. At the bottom of the screen, you see the last paragraph. History is written. Question number 7. Who do you think the bones belong to? That's the mystery. Were these the bones of the children, the princes, or not? Who do you think the bones belong to, class? Because we don't know. This is still a mystery. It's not been solved to this day. At least not that I know of. Who do you think the bones belong to?
The two boys? No, I can think so.
You think they belong to the princes?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or do you think it was just part of covering for the real? Maybe the confession was just part of covering for the real killer. I mean, why did James Tyrrell confess in the first place? I don't know. Does anyone else think the bones belong to someone else? Any other theories? No? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Rebecca, who did the bones belong to if it wasn't the two princes? Give me an alternative hypothesis.
Say again the question. Who?
Who did the bones belong to if not the princes?
If I'm not the princess?
Mm-hmm. If they didn't belong to the princes, who might they have belonged to? I'm just curious who else they could have belonged to.
The family?
They could have been someone else in the family, yeah.
Yeah, some relative.
We don't even know if they're related. They haven't been tested, so we don't even know if they're related to the family. But it could have been.
What?
Could have been, yeah. I have a theory. I think the bones found under the stairs were people who built the tower and died in the construction of the tower. And it just was a very convenient, it just was a convenient coincidence to find these bones because it seemed like it corroborated the story. In other words, it seemed like it legitimized the story. That's my theory. What do you think? You agree? Disagree? The word I used, by the way, was corroborated. In other words, to legitimize the story that you heard. So, I don't know. Last question. The picture showed Richard was deformed. Why was that important to the story? If you take a look at this picture, we can't see it here, but if you see the full picture, one arm looks slightly different than the other, and that's supposed to show that he was in fact deformed. Okay? Why was that significant in the story?
Because people thought that someone who have a deformed part was evil.
Exactly. Right. It had nothing to do with soup. It had everything to do with evil. So maybe Richard was a scapegoat. Do you know what that means, class? Scapegoat. Raise your hand if you know what that means. Giancarlo, you know what scapegoat is? Good. Tell us, what's a scapegoat? I see you raising your hand, Giancarlo.
I have no idea.
But you do. You do. Because Frederic said that people with deformities were seen as evil. Deformities themselves were seen as a sign of evil. So, maybe Richard wasn't guilty after all. Maybe he was a scapegoat. If he was deformed and everyone thought he was evil, might that have been an excuse to kill him? What do you think? You follow?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let's define the word scapegoat for a second.
Yes.
Scapegoat's like an excuse. If Richard was deformed, right, and deformities were evil, did that give people an excuse? Did that give someone an excuse to kill him? Because what were people really after? Think about Machiavelli, the prince. Why did what's his name? I just forgot who it was. Why did Henry kill Richard? What did Henry want to get? Remember Henry? Class, what did Henry want?
He wanted to reign. He wanted the power.
He wanted to reign as king.
Yes, to reign his king.
So, was Richard a scapegoat for Henry? What do you think?
Yes.
Because?
Because if you kill him, he become the king.
And he could kill him because he was
and he
evil.
Could kill him, yes, because he had an excuse for it.
Exactly. So scapegoat means an excuse. When a person or a situation, usually a person, becomes an excuse. Just like sacrificing a goat in the old days. It's sort of a sacrifice, scapegoat. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If there's any questions, just ask. Let's see what we have time to do. I want you to take, I'm going to jump forward here and take just a quick look at a verb tense. Look at the diagram. Look at the sentences. Match the sentences below with A and B on the timeline. Okay? So, I'm going to have, let's see, Sam and Ahmed, if you could do this. Mr. Ahmed, can you read sentence number 1 in exercise 8?
When Henry took power, he killed the princess.
Okay, that's good. And Sam, could you read the second one for us?
Yes, sure. When Henry took power, Richard had killed the princess.
Okay, we've got 2 sentences and 2 different verb tenses. Mr. Ahmed, where do you think your sentence belongs? Point A or point B?
Point A in the past, I think. It's finished.
Because it's finished. Point A. Okay, let's find out. Let's see what Sam says. Sam, where do you think your sentences belong? A or B?
You mean about the past?
Yeah, look at the timeline. On the timeline, you can see 1483 and 1485. And your sentence belongs where? In point A or point B?
Because this is past perfect, and past perfect will come in uh,
So what do you think, A or B?
right? And I think we have it is if it is up past
I can't hear what she's saying. Did anyone catch that?
1483. I think here in before A there is a
Well, it can't be before A. It's either A or B. So are you going to go with?
two.
It's only those two possibilities, right? So are you going to go with A or B?
I think it's also A. Was yes.
Okay, it's B, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do we all agree with that, class? We're saying that. We're saying that. If I understood correctly, we're saying that 1 is A and 2 is B. If I understood correctly, do we all agree with that, class? Does anyone disagree? Rebecca says yes, you agree. Okay.
Yes.
One thing, can I question about that? Because something is have done in past, right?
Exactly.
Because it's not possible in certain time period the action is over and maybe they will not repeat. And in case of perfect, because something is happened or in a past, right? And if it is I think it's both is
Here's the answers that I would. Here's the answers that I would give. Number 1 matches with B. When Henry took power, he killed the princes after 1485 because he killed the princes to become king. In number 2, it should be A, which is before or between 1483 and 1485. When Henry took power, Richard had killed the princes. I hope I did it right. No, I did that backwards. I'm sorry. Did I do that backwards or not? Now I'm getting confused. Wait a second. Wait a second. When Henry took power, he killed the princes.
No, I agree.
Yeah, okay. I got myself confused. Okay. So, to clarify this, in sentence number 1, that's the... Ahmed, what's the verb tense in your sentence? Do you know the name of that? He killed the princes? I can't hear what you're saying. One more time?
In the past?
Okay, which kind of past? Past simple, past perfect, past continuous?
Simple past.
Simple. Very good. Okay. And Sam, your verb tense is called, do you know the name of it?
Yes. Past perfect?
Past perfect is correct because it has the verb to have. Anytime you have, it's always called perfect. Good. Okay, let's clarify this a little further. In sentence 1, which happened first? Did Henry take power or did the princes die in sentence number 1 in the simple past?
Die first, then he took the power.
Yes. First, Henry took power.
First, Henry took power, and then the princes died, because when Henry took power, he killed the princes. So he took the power first in sentence number 1.
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, in sentence number 2, the order must be reversed, right? The princes died. So the princes died, and then Henry took power. When Henry took power, Richard had already killed the princes. That's it's another solution to the mystery that we just read about.
Yes.
Okay, so in that case, it's B and then A, just to be clear. Any questions about the order of events? These sentences, they can't I guess they can't both be true because the order is reversed. Okay, let me just see if that makes sense. Hold on one second here. I'm going to jump forward. We have just a minute or two, but just to continue on with the grammatical part here, just to make sure it's clear, I want you to look at the form of that past perfect sentence. He had killed them. Just to be clear, what's the negative form? How do you make the negation? Mr. Miko, how would you fill in the second box?
He hadn't killed them.
He hadn't killed them. Exactly. He hadn't killed them. Okay. Give me a second here. That's weird. Why do I have different answers? You're absolutely right. He had killed them. He hadn't killed them. That's strange. Why do I have a different answer in my own notes? That's odd. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, never mind. In the question form, Mr. Jose, what would be the question form of that?
And the question form. Had he killed
them? That's right. Had he killed them? Okay. If I said he didn't kill them, what would that be? The present perfect or simple past? He didn't kill them. Class.
Simple
He
past.
didn't kill them. Simple past.
Simple past. Okay, so that doesn't fit in the box because it's a different verb tense. And right now we're looking at the past perfect, not the simple past. Okay. Let's see if you understand the difference. We have just a minute or two, but maybe we have time for each of you to do just one of these really quickly before we have to stop for today. And perhaps we can come back to this later in the week because I have something else for you to do. But for today, let's see if we can just do one or two of these. Look, the first one's been done for you. Forget about exercise 11 for the moment. That you can do on your own. But in exercise 12 basically asks you to put the right verb in. For example, Henry took power in 1485. His army blank Richard in battle. Ah, there's the battle picture we saw. Mr. Ahmed, what's the right answer to number one, for the second part?
Henry took power.
Right?
His army maybe killed in the past.
His army killed.
Or had
Killed?
killed.
Yeah, which is it? Killed or had killed?
I think it's had killed.
Had killed. When Henry took power, his army had killed Richard in battle. Okay.
Which one happened first?
So, I can't hear you. Which one happened first, you said?
Yeah.
Henry took power in 1485. His army had killed Richard in battle. His army had already killed, so that would happen second. That would happen first, I'm sorry, first. His army had killed Richard, happened first. Right? Henry took power in 1405. His army had killed Richard in battle. So, correct me if I'm wrong about that. I believe that's how it works. Is that clear? Questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What is the difference between the battle and war?
Oh, war is many battles.
War is many battles.
One battle is not a war, but many battles is a war. So a war is composed of battles, basically. All right, I want to make sure that the verb tense is clear to everyone. Let's see if we can just do maybe one more, then we got to stop. Who wants number two? Who wants to give it a try? Go for it.
Yeah, I can try, yeah.
Go for it.
Henry's army had killed Richard in battle and took power.
Henry's army had killed Richard in battle and took power. I think the problem here, because I had Richard's army killed. Henry's army killed Richard and took power. I used both simple past forms. Henry's army killed Richard in battle and took power. Because I don't need to show one happening before the other in this case. Maybe this is a little bit confusing. All right, let's try one more. Then we got to stop because I have to start the next class. Someone else, try number 3. Let's see.
Can I try?
Go for it. Hello?
Died in April.
Okay, I couldn't hear you. One more time, please.
Yes, Richard put the boys
Good.
in the tower in June. Their father died in April.
And the father died in battle. Okay. So,
April.
number 3. It's put... But wait a second. Richard put the boys in the tower. Their father... The father had died in April.
Yes.
Right? To show that it happened before. Exactly. So that one is really clear because you can see June happens after April. Okay? Maybe that's a little bit easier than number 2. Number 2 is a little bit confusing. Okay, listen, we're going to stop here, but I still want you to tell the story of your own. So tomorrow, 1 hour earlier, I'm going to do the second part of this class, and you're going to be telling your own story. We're going to start by retelling the story of Richard III, and then I'm going to give you a story, or you can choose one of your own. You're going to use the past perfect to enhance your story and make it sound like a native speaker. So that'll be coming up tomorrow. I'll be back in just a second to start. What am I doing after this? It's Fluency Fundamentals. We're going to be talking about time expressions. Lots and lots of time expressions. I've changed the format of the class. Come in and check it out. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute for that. Bye for now, everyone. See you in a moment.
Thanks.
Bye for now.